Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 292. My name is Tom.
And my name's Zen.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where if you scroll down, there is an Amazon banner. You click on that Amazon banner, it will take you to amazon.co.uk, where you can do all your spending as you usually would, I'm sure. Doesn't mean that you spend any more, but we get 5% of your total basket at the end. So instead of it costing you an extra 5%, we're taking an extra 5% away from Amazon so that we can pay to keep on the internet for the year.
And if you want to support us in a more regular way or any other way, and in all honesty, it's our preferred method because we get to give back as well. You can support us on Patreon. The banner's on our website at abhpod.com. It becomes increasingly obvious that I really do need to check. But for a single unit of your currency, because Patreon changed it, it used to be just $1. It might be £1 now. I don't know. £1. Who knows? You can support us. That's a monthly donation. You get extra content. So you'll get after the podcasts, which are exclusive to Patreon. We do them most weeks. You'll get spoiler casts as and when we record them. More recently, we've done WandaVision. That goes on our Patreon feed first, and then eventually when we want a bit of a break or where the film's coming out on home release, which is all the time at the minute, we'll put it out on our main feed. But as I said, you get it as and when we record it as a bit of extra content. Occasionally we'll make YouTube videos. Hasn't been done in a while because we've not been able to see each other, but they'll go out on our Patreon feed first, a couple of days before they go up on our main YouTube channel. And you'll get a special RSS link as well for all our audio content. They'll go straight on into your podcast app when you do that. You also get this main episode without this laboured intro.
Indeed. You can find us on all the social media platforms. We're on Twitter at ABH Pod. We're on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. And we're on YouTube, as Ant mentioned, .com/ABH Podcast.
That's right. You can also email us, abhpod@gmail.com.
Get in touch. On this episode, we talk about movies and TV.
Yeah, we also delve into a bit of work-life balance.
Mm-hmm. But first, there's been a noteworthy death recently.
Enjoy. Massive news within the last few days.
Completely, we can't not talk about it, can we?
No. Dmx died, man.
Yeah, the king.
Yeah.
The king.
Yeah, DMX. I remember
honestly,
reading...
man. No.
Obviously, there was a bigger death, but, you know, we've got to do, you know. It depends where you stand. Sorry, I don't mean to diminish DMX.
No, everyone dying is a sad thing, but for me personally, DMX was the one that hit me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have different stances on royalties, so there's going to be that different sort of, you know. I'm not a royalist as such, but I do appreciate what they signify. Essentially, they are a symbol.
I feel the same way. They're good for tourism. They do good charity work.
Yeah. And Prince Philip was hilarious at times. But possibly unintentionally. Anyway, so we'll get onto that in a second. But DMX, it's one of those things. It's not really my genre of music, but everyone knows DMX. Like, even if you don't know anything about him, you know X gonna give it to you. Like, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
More so, possibly more recently from the Deadpool trailer. But was that song wasn't in the film, was it?
I think didn't they use it in the they used it in the bit where they were going to confront Ajax.
Yeah, they didn't use it in the part where you saw it in the trailer.
No, I don't think so.
Because in the trailer, it was when he was sat up on the bridge. It was the highway.
That's right. Yeah.
It was the soundtrack to the highway fight, whereas in the film, it wasn't.
Yeah, they used it. Yeah, they used it in the kind of slow motion walk.
Yeah. Yes.
Where the three
when they're walking up towards the helicarrier thing. Yeah. Sorry, it's not a helicarrier.
It was a helicarrier.
But yeah, because I did read last week that he was in a coma, wasn't he? He was on life support.
Yeah.
For a while. So when everyone started posting about DMX, I was like, didn't he die last? No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, I know. I hadn't heard that the other week, so this kind of it came completely out of the blue, really.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the first I saw of it, because obviously, you know, there wasn't much else being reported but one thing last week. Last week, Saturday, Friday. Yeah. And then it popped up like on one of the social medias, I forget. And I mean, it seems like, you know, the guy was battling some pretty serious addiction problems and stuff, and that's why you have a heart attack at the age of 50, I guess.
I think that's what put him in the coma or led to the heart attack, was an overdose, wasn't it? Was it his? Did he overdose? Was it? I can't remember what they said now. It's something along, like you say, doing.
But like his thing that people have been sharing a post of a video of one of his performances from like Woodstock at the end of the 90s or the early 2000s, and it's insane. He's playing to like 200,000 people. Yeah. Just him and a DJ, and there's circle pits going off, and like he was punk as fuck. He was there is no denying that he is an icon of sort of like that genre back, especially back in the 90s, like hardcore rap.
Yeah, and it's one of those voices again, isn't it? It's the. So, like, Exhibit has that voice as well. It's just that real fucking, like, yes, gruff. I smoke. Like, I do smoke. This is my voice. Like,
but also, it's like not many other people could get away with barking through their through most of their songs, and it not sounding shit. Like, he does it, and it sounds like.
You've definitely had rappers try to do that, and you're just like, really? But he did it, and unironically, but it also was like legit. Like people, like, it's fine. It's DMX. He barks. So like that's just him.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
And he's hard, stupid. And he'll take you out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but I mean, like, even if it's not X Gon Give It To You, like, there are so many fucking bangers, right through from like Rough Riders Anthem and What These Bitches Want, through to like the kind of slightly less like later on, like 2006, he released an album called Year of the Dog Again, and there's a song on there called Lord Give Me a Sign, and it's like proper kind of soul searching rap. I remember I listened to that on Friday night after Joe had gone to bed, and that was like, oh man, like there's some real, like, it wasn't just thug stuff with him, like there was a deeper thing there as well on occasion.
Like it's one of the sad things, whereas he probably was well aware of like struggles he might have had and stuff like that, and like he rapped about. So it's almost one of those bittersweet things, isn't it? It's like, maybe he was sort of like not quite like he used to be, and maybe some not saving, because do you know what I mean? Like, but it's like I say, it's one of those things as well. I know X Gon Give It To You, but I sound like such a dick saying that, don't I? I sound so white. X gon give it to you. X is going to give it to you. But it's one of those things. I that's the only one I can pull out in my head. Like, that's the one I can just pull up. I know that song, but I'm pretty sure there's a hell of a lot more songs I know. Even not his songs, but songs that he has featured on and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. It's shit when someone dies that young. It is shit, and under those circumstances as well, it sucks. I don't know it probably doesn't interest you in the slightest. I'm not even going to say probably. It wouldn't interest you in the slightest, but Liz and I have been watching that Demi Lovato YouTube documentary that she did. Because, she had a heart attack, like, due to a drug overdose a couple of years ago, yeah.
I didn't know that, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, she did. And she's made a documentary where she's being real and telling all, and it's just kind of, but there is a lot of...
I love how you're playing devil's advocate in your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is like, there is a lot of realness in there, like, that you're watching it and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, although she's this pop princess, sort of like she was in Camp Rock and all this stuff, it's like, oh, no, she's had it shit. Like, everyone knows it's being a young star, being pushed, like, being in the limelight at a young age and stuff like that.
Messes people up.
And she was one of these ones around the time where the Jonas Brothers had their promise rings and all that shit. But she said, like, she felt so fake wearing it because I think, like, one of her co-stars, and she doesn't say who it was, like, actually sexually abused her, like, during Camp Rock. So she felt like she shouldn't have been wearing that ring, like she didn't deserve to wear that ring because it was a lie. And it's kind of like, what the fuck? That sucks. Yeah. So we've been watching that. So, like, you see, from her, I know the situation is going to be very different, but it's just like, it's so shit, like how easy drugs come to rich people in LA. It's messed up. Messed up.
Well, it's the same throughout, everything from, like, Macaulay Culkin through to Britney Spears and all that. They've all had. The only one who seems to have come away from things relatively scot-free is Justin Timberlake, I guess.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to have much controversy in his locker.
No, I think there was at one point, but I don't know. And I think it surrounded that Britney Spears thing, like, his Chroming River video.
Yeah. I think that's about as controversial as it got.
Yeah. But I think it was like people saying, like, he was a bastard, he's a bit of an arsehole, and you're kind of like, nah, not Justin Timberlake. No. He couldn't do that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like squeaky clean Justin Timberlake. But yeah, that sort of around, like, the early to mid 2000s stars, it was just a fucking shit show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, people just capitalising on it massively. But yeah. Yeah, it's sad. Like, someone dying that young.
It is, but it's not the first one either, because, like, there's been a couple of kind of high profile deaths like this year.
Yeah.
And it's not quite 2016 levels, but
no. No, I mean, 2016 it was kind of like, I don't mean to diminish, like, people, but, like, 2016 it was just like David Bowie, Alan Rickman, like, it was just like, massive starts. This year it's kind of like Sabine Schmidt, DMX. It's kind of like people that, like, they're massive to the people who know them.
Yeah.
Whereas the others, it was just like everyone knows them. These ones, it's kind of like, they are big, like, Sabine Schmidt was a legend if you were a fan of Top Gear, like, she was an absolute legend. Yeah. DMX, absolute icon, like we said, especially in the 90s. And everyone knows his music, but there's going to be people that are like, I've heard of DMX. Like, it's not going to...
It's not going to hit that button. It's like MF Doom as well earlier on. Like,
that was this year as well.
It was the end of last year, but then that didn't even get announced. Yeah, he actually died in October.
Oh.
But it didn't get announced till, like, December or something, or January.
Yeah, because wasn't MF Doom like a sort of enigmatic type person? Like,
yeah, he wore a mask all the time, and actually some of the times that you were watching MF Doom, you weren't watching MF Doom at all. You were watching one of his mates in the same mask, while he was also in another town doing another show.
No,
which I think is actually, that's a genius move.
Is there someone we know that kind of planned to do that sort of thing at some point?
Yeah. Well, we know. People who wear masks and play music.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And wasn't would that not have been an opportunity that they may have discussed at some point?
Yes, yeah. I believe that he told us that in confidence. Yeah.
Any number. Anyway,
they're not on that level.
But but MF Doom is one of those ones that I saw. Like, I saw you post about it. I saw Joe from the All Seeing Guys post about it. I saw a couple of people that I used to work with, like in a factory. They were into their sort of, like that sort of music. They were posting about it, and I'm sitting there like, who the fuck's MF Doom? Like, I don't know who that is.
But that's it, isn't it? It hits you.
But to the people that knew who he was, it was huge.
Yeah. Because again, it's someone who was basically in their prime.
Yeah.
Way, way before you expect anyone to be having complications or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, even 50 years old is not old these days. Like,
no, not at all.
You know, if anything, 99 is quite old.
Yeah.
Which is, the main source of national grief this weekend.
Yeah.
For some more than others.
Yeah, and it's one of those bizarre ones. Just like, I read it and I was like, and I was like, fuck, Prince Philip's died. And it was like, what? Prince Philip? I was like, yeah. And it's kind of like, yeah, he was 99.
He's an old man. He'd recently been in a car accident and been in hospital for like months.
Yeah, and like there was a meme floating about a few months ago, and it was a picture of Prince Philip, and it's like, this fucker's been on 1% in airplane mode for like the last 10 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you go back to, I think it was 2012, and it was the Diamond Jubilee, or was it Gold? I can't remember.
I think it was Diamond, and I think, was it that one where it was his last sort of like public tour?
Because he got like some kind of infection or something.
Yeah.
Probably being brought around by like watching the parade down the Thames in the freezing cold rain, because it was bucketing down that day.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Put an old guy, like a 90-odd-year-old guy, out in the freezing rain next to the Thames.
What's going to happen?
See how long he lasts.
Yeah. But like, the guy hasn't looked well for more than a decade now. But my problem on Friday and then Saturday was just like the amount of airtime on every single fucking channel. And I know they've got to do it, but like they switched off BBC 4 on Friday night. They stopped broadcasting on BBC 4 and had a little thing going, go and watch the news on BBC 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's like, but BBC 1 and 2 are playing the same thing, and so is Channel 4 and ITV. Like, Channel 4 at least played The Simpsons a couple of times. It was like when Diana died, right? I woke up that morning when Diana died, and I was, I don't know, what was that, 96 or something?
Yeah.
So I was 11. And I was looking for Saturday TV, you know, for kids on the thing, and there was just all this news coverage of some woman who died in another country.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's the cartoons? And luckily, you know, Channel 4 after a little while started playing Tintin.
Yeah.
And Channel 4 was playing The Simpsons, and that was, you know, again, it's a little bit of...
Well, there was this thing
synchronicity.
I wasn't aware of until I looked at it in my Microsoft Teams chat. Now, I don't, like, for work, I haven't been at work all week, but like, I think Friday I popped in just to double check things for my return on Tuesday. Because it's Chloe's birthday tomorrow, so I'm going to be a bit busy, so I won't be able to check in. So, I checked in on Friday, and now one of them was like, do you know if it's just the Queen, or is it any senior royal where the BBC aren't allowed to play comedy programmes for 2 weeks? Apparently, that's a rule of the BBC, being a publicly funded, like a national... Yeah. Like a corporation that represents the people. They aren't... So that may explain BBC 4, because BBC 4 is predominantly comedy, is it?
No. Friday nights is music.
Which one was it that was
Saturday is more
Three?
BBC Three was like the
Comedy,
kind of
yeah.
young person's comedy
right.
thing. Yeah.
So
BBC Four is kind of documentaries and things like that. So like Friday nights is normally old Top of the Pops and like biographies on music and stuff. Then Saturdays is more your kind of Scandi dramas and things like that, you know. And then through the week it's like history documentaries and stuff. And I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Give me my Duran Duran documentary, for fuck's sake.
So, yeah, by all accounts, that there is a rule that's probably been in place for years now that if a senior royal dies, then the BBC do not play comedy.
Yeah, well, I was listening to Richard Herring talking to Jeremy Paxman on Rahel Esther a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he was saying, Paxman was saying that there's a protocol when he was working there on the news shows that everyone has a black suit and tie in a cupboard somewhere in the building.
Yeah.
And if a royal dies, you are to go directly there. Like even if the live news channel is on, the anchor must go to a pre-prepared bit. And then in the break go and change into a black suit and tie.
Yeah.
And then when the camera gets back to that link. Yeah. Like it's like there are these protocols and traditions in place.
Yeah, I mean Operation Fourth Bridge, isn't it? Like it's this they've had this planned, and Operation Fourth Bridge being the protocol for when the Duke of Edinburgh dies, when Prince Philip dies. That was a whole plan. I mean, that was the royal household. That was like royalty. They had Operation Fourth Bridge. Obviously, BBC would have their own version of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's part of Operation Fourth Bridge. But yeah, it was a whole thing that they had planned, and Prince Philip was involved in the planning of what would happen when he dies. He didn't want a state funeral. It's lucky. Because you're not going to get one because of COVID. Obviously, they've had to make massive sacrifices with regards to how his funeral's sort of going to be handled. Like there's loads of police around Buckingham Palace to disperse people bringing flowers because they're not supposed to be bringing flowers and things like that. I'd read this morning that the Land Rover that's going to be carrying his coffin, he helped design it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've not had a proper... I suppose the last big royal death would have been the Queen Mother.
Yeah.
And that was back in the 90s as well. It's going to be interesting to see what...
I don't feel like that was as big.
No, because she wasn't the Queen, or...
Yeah, she's Queen Mother's, which seems wrong that it wasn't as big news, but this is like the current reigning Queen's consort. Obviously, if it was the other way around, he was king, she would, like the person who died would have been queen. Like, it would be our queen that died, but he is essentially the king. But obviously, just queen consort, isn't he? Wasn't he? For like 73 years, man.
Yeah, I know. Walking in the shadow of someone else for 73 years after you've had...
He was like... was he like an officer in the Navy? Like, and he was...
Yeah.
Like, he was bound for huge things in the Navy. Like, he would have been in charge. It would have been all about him to then go and live in the shadow of, like, the Queen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's undoubtedly been, a tough life in some ways. And not
it's
so
hard
in
to
others.
say that about like royal family, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
But
the thing is, like, you've got to remember that they're all humans as well, but they're bound by some ridiculously strict code and arcane rules.
Yes.
Which need updating.
Sure.
Or some would say abolishing.
Yeah.
I'm not for that, but
Yeah.
There's interesting,
it's
both sides.
It's difficult because it's like, because I'm thinking of like places like not France don't have a royal family anymore, do they? Do they?
No, they don't, because they overthrew theirs. That was what the revolution was about.
Yeah. No, but there's
a prime minister, and
is there not a royal family? And it's a part that
France.
I always think is France, but it's not actually France. Where the fuck is it?
There's the Crown Prince of Monaco.
I think that's what I'm thinking of, actually. Yeah. Who's not?
Yeah. Which is not France.
Yeah.
Spain has got a royal family, but they're not really. They're more kind of figureheads rather than heads of state.
Yeah. I think that's
Denmark, I believe, has a royal family because they've got the crown on the top of the Carlsberg logo.
No, your royal families through beer. But yeah, it's that sort of thing where I'm trying to I'm thinking around the world where there's royal families and they seem to work better. And I think, like you're saying, Spain seems to work. You don't hear so much about them. It's because they're figureheads rather than head. Yeah. Which I'm like, would that work better for us, where the royal family kind of aren't in charge of anything, but they're still there?
It's funny.
Then I'm thinking, would it work better if the royal family had more power? I'm like, nah, let's not do that.
Not again.
Nope. Let's not do that.
Because let's face it, they don't really react well to any kind of slight within their own family, let alone if they were given.
How do you mean?
Well, yeah. And I just
the skirt around that one.
Yeah. Harry will be there.
Yeah. Which,
but Meghan's pregnant, so flying in an airplane probably not the best idea.
Oh, so Meghan won't be there. Is it? No, she's not invited
on her doctor's advice.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. To be fair, if I was her, I wouldn't want to fucking go either.
Nah, fuck them.
Yeah. I'm surprised he is. I think it's right.
I'm not, because I think that, like, from that Oprah interview, it sounds like most of his problem is with Charles and Will. And in actual
fact, if you look at, if you look at The Crown and, take it all with a pinch of salt. And I think this is where Prince Philip, where you've really got to appreciate him, is because he took Diana under his wing, if you are to believe The Crown. If
the soap opera is to be believed.
there's some truth in it. There's got to be some truth in it. But also, if you look at, I think he kind of took Harry under his wing in that sense as well, because although maybe he gave Charles a bit of a hard time, I think all the sort of the black sheep of the family, like Diana, was sort of frowned upon because she wasn't quite them. Meghan is sort of frowned upon because she's not quite them. Harry was kind of a bit of a rebel. I think Philip sort of took those people. I think they gravitated towards him because he was a black sheep, because the royal family didn't want him, didn't think he was suitable for the Queen.
Despite him and the Queen both being great-grandchildren of Queen Victoria.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think I was looking, in some of the interviews, it was in some ways, Prince Philip had more royal blood in him than the Queen did. There were more royals, actual royals in his family than there were in her side. Yeah. Which is weird, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's where Philip sort of, and I think that's why people kind of liked Philip. He's the old racist granddad, but... Do you know what I mean? And you can't help but like that person. But bonkers. You remember when he made that quote about? Was it when he was in? When he made the slitty eyes comment, basically. Yeah. But did you see the headlines of the tabloids who were I saw a flash of a headline on the show I was watching when they were specifically talking about him being racist and then being called out by the newspapers, whose headline was "It's all gone wrong," and I'm like,
right, yeah, what? Because
they're calling him out for being racist, but in doing so,
God love that particular tabloid. I'm sure I know exactly which one it was.
It definitely had a red banner. But yeah, it's kind of like, wow, it was a very different time back then. Because he was wrong for saying that, because he directly said something, whereas we just hinted at it. And
yeah, they did the accent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did the accent. That's it. It's just like, wow. But in the same ways, it's like, and people not liking Philip for that are the same people. Well, I mean, it's wrong, but like people who up in arms about Meghan and Harry and stuff, and alluding to the he wore a Nazi uniform. Oh, he's a fucking. And you're like, what? And then there's pictures like, oh, you're upset about Philip. Remember, he marched with he was a Nazi sympathiser. It's like, no, he wasn't. Like, he wasn't. Like, he fought against the Nazis. You know, there is video clip of royal family when they were a lot younger doing like the Nazi salute, but can you honestly say you've never done it as a laugh with your mates?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like you said, they're human. They will have fun and stuff like that. And I think the particular picture that somebody used to demonstrate him sort of being a Nazi sympathiser and marching with the Nazis, I'm pretty sure it was his sister's funeral where he was walking at like the head of the procession, and there was just people in the crowd like doing the Sieg Heil. Like that picture isn't him marching with the Nazis. I'm pretty sure that picture's him walking in his sister's funeral procession, or was it his sister or his mum? Or I have
no idea what we're talking about. I don't...
Prince Philip's picture. Sorry.
Yeah, I've never. I don't know this particular controversy.
No, yeah, it's people saying he's a Nazi sympathiser on Twitter with that picture, and I'm just like,
okay,
that's not, because
I literally I've stopped watching the news.
Yeah. This is all on Twitter
the last few months, if I'm honest, and I didn't realise that he died until much later in the day when I stopped doing my work. I have no fucking clue. I'm doing work. I'm too busy. And it just I don't know, man. Like, it's the thing that has got my goat in the last 48 hours is the blanket media coverage and the forced sense of everyone having to be in mourning for someone that they don't know, and frankly has had no impact on their lives. And you know, it's sad. Obviously, it's sad. I feel sorry for the family. And those people who are deeply affected by it. Fair enough, but I don't want to switch on the news, the radio, social media. I don't want to fucking see it all the time. Like, like the fact that like it was the news all day on Friday on BBC One and BBC Two were showing the exact same thing.
It was a 10-minute clip that was just revolving, wasn't it? It was the same clip, and I definitely agree. I think 24-hour news channels, yes, that is news. We are in Britain. He was husband to the Queen of England. So, yes, you do need to cover that. And it's probably protocol that it does need to be covered. Because, it's the Queen's husband. I understand it's huge. But I agree in the sense that I think me and Liz watched that clip on BBC. And then we were like, oh, that's really sad. We watched the clip, and then I went, oh, it's just the same clip again. Let's turn it over. She went, yeah, that's fine. We turned it over to, I think it's called W, which shows game shows and shit like that. Must be a BBC channel, because when we turned it over, we were watching a game show along the bottom. It took up like like 20%, no, sort of like maybe 15, 20% of the screen at the bottom. It said, please switch over to BBC News. For like breaking it, and it's just kind of like,
that's clear.
But I've watched it. I'm choosing now not to watch it. But it's affecting what I'm watching on another channel.
That's what I mean. Like, they didn't have to switch BBC 4 off.
No,
they didn't have to do that.
I understand that it needs to be covered because this is England. He is the Queen's husband,
and it's the BBC.
However, if you are choosing not to watch it, there shouldn't be a thing saying go and watch this. Like, like, I have.
And it just gave me.
There's no way to clear it. It was actually broadcast. It wasn't like a thing that popped up on Sky. Like, you couldn't. I tried pressing back and it wouldn't work.
Right.
I tried closing it and I couldn't.
There was no little X in the corner.
No. It wasn't a banner that was popped up like over the interface. It was broadcast with that banner on it, so you couldn't clear it. But yeah, I definitely agree. And it is the problem with 24-hour TV, 24-hour news now. Obviously, back in the day when Queen's dad died, it would have been on every news broadcast on the radio, fine.
Yeah.
It would have been in every newspaper, fine. They come out once, some of them twice a day, fine. Other than that, it shouldn't.
Yeah. What we ended up doing was watching films instead.
Just get Netflix on.
And exactly. And that's it. You know, there are other things that you can choose to do.
Yes.
But it does give you a bit of an insight. Imagine what it's going to be like when the Queen goes. Like, is it going to be like a whole week of the same 10-minute clip going over and over? Like, are we ever going to be allowed to forget it? Like, because there is something to be said against the 24-hour news cycle and like constant connection to things, because they can't let it go.
No.
And it's being beamed into everyone's homes more so than, like you say, in the 40s, where it would have been like the radiogram, where everyone sat round like 6 o'clock.
Breaking news, everybody. As well, Hannah.
But no, it's a sad thing. But I just like it was overkill on like Friday and Saturday.
It's just weird, because part of me does want to play devil's advocate and like, but it is huge news, which you know it's huge news. However,
it doesn't affect me in the fucking slightest.
So it shouldn't. Yeah, you should be able to escape it easier.
Yeah.
Which you did. You watch films, but at the same time, it's like, but I didn't want to watch films. I wanted to watch BBC 4.
It was Duran Duran's 40th anniversary, and they were going to be showing a thing, and it's
more important. It matters more to
me.
You.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And I think that people want a bit of respite. People don't want to. It's like it's grief hawking, isn't it? Again, it's just like that constant fucking thing. Like as if this entire last 12 months has not been bad enough.
Yeah, it's fear-mongering, but with grief, day, isn't it? You will be sad. You should be sad. Everyone should be sad. Yeah, it's kind of like, no.
And I think now these days more than ever there is more non-royal sentiment, than royal sentiment. I'm not saying that there's more people that don't believe in the monarchy these days than do, but I'm sure there's a larger group of people who could not give a fuck.
And the other thing is as well, it's that there will be these people that do love the royal family, but celebrities, much more important to them. Yeah. Like there will be people that will be more upset, like they will claim that to
DMX
love
died.
the monarchy. No, there's people that will claim to love the Queen and they claim to love William and Harry. Maybe not Harry so much because of Meghan, but but there will be those people who claim to love them, but Prince Philip's died, they've gone, oh no, that's sad, let me change my profile photo. But then there will also be people that when fucking Kim Kardashian, like the same person, when Kim Kardashian dies, whatever, they will just be absolutely destroyed.
Inconsolable.
Yeah, and they will change their MySpace layout. That will be more important to them than a member of the royal family dying, which... arguably, arguably not as important.
Yeah,
but again, it's what matters to them, isn't it? But no, I totally I agree with you about the news coverage. Like, yes, play it on BBC One all day. Like, cover it on BBC One all day. That's fine, because that is the premier BBC channel.
Yeah,
that should cover this sort of thing, but don't do it on BBC Two as well, and then don't do it on, like, don't fucking put a banner up on W, which is like a like playing old game shows and quiz shows and stuff. Don't put a banner. So I
suppose they must have had the same banner on Dave as well, surely.
Yeah,
because Dave is a BBC owned channel.
Yeah, it probably would have been. But yeah, so it's like, don't, like, if people want to, I mean, have that banner up for the first hour, because that if someone is watching that channel, maybe they don't know that news. Maybe they've been working, they sit down on their lunch break, stick on W for a bit of lightheartedness, go, oh, what's this banner about? Skip to BBC One. After an hour, take it down. Because everyone will know that news by then. Obviously, my sort of like theory is broken when you say like you didn't know till the evening, but that's not the point.
No.
But do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that shouldn't affect all the others. Like fucking calm the fuck down. Calm your tits, Karen. Anyway. It also shouldn't take up too much of our podcast either. But yeah,
true. But it's like, I think it's worth having the conversation though,
of
isn't
course.
it? You know, because there are different viewpoints on this, and it's interesting to discuss them.
I've definitely
I think
I've got people on like on Facebook who are definitely not royalists at all, and they were like, "Good." It's kind of
I've been like in some of the kind of more punk groups that I'm involved in. There's a lot of like, fuck that guy, fuck his entire family, and I'm like, oh come on, that's not the thing. I'm respectful of it.
Yeah, you may not agree with what they stand for, but they're
no.
people...
Look, I'm
not you. I mean them.
Right? Yeah.
Like, you may not agree with what they stand for, but you know they're people.
Yeah.
The Queen. She may be the head of the thing that you really don't like, but her husband of 73 years has just died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like human level.
Yeah.
She's not a fucking human. She's a lizard.
The lizard thing, I just can't get my fucking head around these fucking people. Like it's just it's one of those things, you know, and it does give you a little insight. It's like 8 days of national mourning now as well.
Oh, is it 8? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know how many days it was. I knew they hadn't announced.
Yeah. And I was like, well, national mourning, isn't that normally when the country locks down? Like, and like everything closes, but it's not. It just means that news presenters have to wear a black tie.
Yeah, it used to be like shops would close and like only hospitals and things like that would stay open,
and maybe that's where the no comedy on the BBC comes in as well. Maybe those 8 days of mourning will be
maybe it is 8
like
days,
a comedy-free zone.
Arguably,
it'll be 2
actually no.
weeks
BBC comedy is pretty good. I was going to say arguably BBC is a comedy-free zone anyway, but no, it's not, because BBC comedy is good.
Some of it. I mean, I'm not going to vouch for Mrs. Brown's Boys.
No, no, some of it is not comedy. Playing that constantly for 8 days would be 8 days of mourning for me. But yeah. I forgot what I was going to fucking say now. That's fine. I'm sure it wasn't important. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, it's become evident that Boris Johnson does have a heart or something similar. Because, he's foregoing his place at the funeral in favour of a royal family member. Isn't that nice of him?
Oh, okay. This is because obviously the funeral is happening during COVID times, and they're only allowed 30 people there, isn't it? So in a way, that kind of brings them down to everyone else's level, doesn't it? Like COVID is an equalizer. Like even the royal family are not allowed to not have more than 30 people.
Can you imagine if they did? Mate, that would
like if the royal family is flouting COVID rules. But it's going to be televised, so we can count on the screen. Also, 1, 2 people.
It's also that sort of thing, like when they invited the BBC into their lives, isn't it? It showed people how real we are. They kind of look, we're sticking to the rules. We're just like you. But it's bonkers. Part of me was like, oh, that's nice of you, Boris Johnson, giving up your place for like one of their family members. But at the same time, you would expect... The Prime Minister usually, would expect that he would be at such an event. So it's kind of like protocol would probably dictate he has to go. But he's like, no, because they can only have 30 people, so I'm not going to go. which is kind of like.
But it's also shirking duty.
Yeah.
It's on brand for this Prime Minister.
Yeah. If you need me, I'll be over in this fridge.
I'd rather one of your 18 million cousins would rather.
Yeah, have you seen this ham in the fridge? Yeah, it's.
He's going to tell his wife he's going to the funeral, of course, and he'll probably be He'll probably be like having an affair somewhere.
Maybe. Likely.
Again, very on brand for our Prime Minister. Got about 15 illegitimate children. I'm not saying anything that will get us taken off the air. It's well known.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cunt. I told you, man, I'm tired. I've had a couple of late nights. I'm grouchy.
Fuck the establishment.
Yeah, I agree.
See, she likes it. Oh no, she's laughing. She's going to come and interrupt the podcast to show me something on TikTok. No.
Hey.
No, yes, I'm going to let me shrivel up and die. It's a thing. You should know what it is.
Is that Boris Johnson shriveling up and dying?
No, her phone, apparently. Apparently I should know what that's a reference to.
It's from Disney.
That's from Disney.
Okay.
I'm a bit busy at the minute, Bugs.
A Disney thing.
Yeah. Speaking of, you know how I keep saying Disney should put more documentaries on. Disney Plus should have some more documentaries. Yeah. There's like 4 or 5 more episodes of Inside Pixar that I watched this morning.
Oh, there you go.
And now they should put more documentaries on for me because I've run out again.
It's not their fault that you're consuming them faster than they make them.
Yeah. I suppose.
I've taken up watching Ajin again.
Ajin, yes, yeah. I keep dipping in every so often because I think I only got like 5 episodes left of the second series. So I think keep
I'm on
watching
like episode 7 or something.
Yeah, it's so good, right?
It is good.
Have you got to the change of theme song in the second series? So like the first series had a theme song.
Yeah.
Then the second series had a new one, and then about halfway through the second series, it changes again.
Yeah, I think so. I tend to skip the theme song, actually.
Yeah. I didn't skip the theme tune on any of the episodes of the first series because that song was fucking amazing. But the second series I don't tend to. I just noticed from like the first couple of seconds, that's different, and I listen to it and I go, nah, still not good. Still not as good as the original theme tune. But such a good program, such a good show. Like
it is.
Bonkers, like anyone should go watch it. I
think we've talked about this before. It's a kind of anime.
It's such a good concept, though, isn't it? It's Ajin Demi-Human, so it's like I don't think we've ever discovered why someone becomes Ajin.
No, they're bound to some ghost thing.
Born that way, but it doesn't come out until they're a bit older. Basically, they can't die.
And they have some sort of ghost thing that some of them can control and some of them can't.
When they die, it sort of releases this black mist, and that black mist is like their essence, but they can sort of, I don't know, what do they do? They can sort of form it into it's like a guardian they've got.
Yeah.
Some of them can do it more than others. Some are more dense than others, and
there's a whole load of mythology in there.
So good, such a good idea.
But
it's just the fact that, as he's called in the first series, Hat Guy, and like I think the main guy's done it as well now, hasn't he? Like where they're fighting and they get so injured that they just like, fuck it, I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
My body gets rebuilt so I'm perfectly healthy again, and then I'll keep fighting. It's so what?
I think we were talking about the one where he like chopped his own arm off.
Yeah, like a guard pins Hat Guy's arm to a wall, so he just hacks it off and then carries on fighting. You're like, what? It's so good.
It was like the towards the end of the first series as well, where like the whole thing became like he destroyed whatever he wanted by dropping a tower block on it, like exploding a tower block and have it fall on the place that he wanted to.
Yeah, but he was riding the tower block to the ground.
Yeah.
He was on the tower block when he exploded it. Like,
yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, the guy's a badass, massively. But yeah, it just doesn't let up either. It's just so good. Like every episode,
and they're only 25 minutes long or something as well. Which is,
not long at all.
Yeah.
Chloe's started watching anime now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On her own.
Cool.
Try and get her to watch it with me. Nah, she wants to watch it on her own.
Teenager.
Yeah.
You gotta
14
expect
tomorrow,
these things.
So.
Oh god.
Yeah. But yeah, I want her
makes me
to.
feel
I
old.
want to watch Death Note with her because that's great as well. But so gross. Just sitting in the kitchen burping away, making as much noise as she can. Sorry.
No respect.
No, none at
for
all.
our award-winning podcast.
Award-winning podcast, yeah. Yorkie podcast. That's an early review, isn't it?
Wow.
What did I watch last night? I watched The Invisible Man last night. You know, the new...
Oh, the new one with Carrie-Anne Moss. Yeah?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's what I've heard. I've not watched it, but it would be one that I would, I think.
Oh, for sure. It's really interesting how they've done it. Like,
it's a pretty cool, like, obviously The Invisible Man is a thing that's old as cinema itself, basically.
Oh, yeah.
But the way they've done it this time around looks really effective.
Yeah. It's really cool. I think what was the last iteration of the Invisible Man? It was Hollow Man.
Was it Hollow Man? Yeah.
Which was so good. Like, it was way before its time. Like the water effects of him, like when he's under the sprinkler, just so good, good. But yeah, this does it. I think slightly differently, which is really interesting. Yeah,
I've heard it's cool. Much more kind of psychological than like than the others.
Yeah,
like it's whether or not it's basically all about gaslighting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially, in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I'm interested to watch it.
Oh, yeah, it's on Sky Cinema, so like nothing to lose.
Right,
like, it's free. And the original's on there, or one of the originals, one of the old ones is on there as well.
Yeah,
which I don't think I've ever watched it. So the Bandage, which they do pay homage to.
Oh, really?
At some point,
cool.
Yeah, it is really good.
Apparently, Joe was terrified of that. The original
when he's taking off the bandages,
because then it's just revealing nothing.
Yeah, which again is another thing that at the time it was just like incredible effects. It's, but
they've always been really good films. All the Invisible Man films have always been. Well, I haven't seen all of them, obviously, but the ones that have made it big, like Hollow Man, was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. We watched something on Netflix the other day called The Trial of the Chicago 7. And it's a procedural. It's got like a ridiculous cast. It's Eddie Redmayne.
That's brilliant.
Sacha
it's
Baron
film,
Cohen.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Set in the courtroom.
Mate, it's
about
we watched that a little while ago. That's so good.
Yeah, watched it. Yeah, yesterday, and I couldn't get over how fucking brilliant it was. Like, the perfect kind of. You just can't believe that judge was anything like that.
But he was
like Frank Langella's judge is just this like crotchety old racist, like right wing authoritarian guy who just basically was stonewalling everything that was thrown at them from the defense.
Yeah, and Sacha Baron Cohen's character in it, like he actually is a fantastic actor.
Yeah,
like a lot of comedians, like a lot of comedy actors, they are brilliant, like serious as well.
Yeah,
like his character was so good. And
he is a kind of stand-up comedian as well, isn't he?
Yeah. He kind of is he playing himself? He's just that film, like it was one of those ones where Liz was like, oh, that sounds good. Should we watch that? I'm like, yeah, stick it on, and we just sat there like, wow. Like
it's the bit where like they tie up Bobby Searle, the Black Panther leader, and like bring him back into a courtroom gagged and bound, and you're like, fuck,
because he wanted to represent himself.
Yeah.
And he just kept talking.
And he wasn't receiving the counsel because he wasn't like those guys' lawyers.
He's not with them. Yeah. He's representing himself separate from them, but he's involved in the same case. But that guy's not representing me. I need to speak for myself.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good film.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. And kind of not a lot has changed in that country. You know, they love a show of force. They love a show of armed force.
Coercion.
It's interesting that it came out around about the same time as, you know, a lot of protests have happened in the last year, and the way that certain protesters have been treated compared to other types of protesters.
It is awful when you see things like, look what used to happen, and you're like, what, last week? No, this is the 70s. Is it? And I think you sort of got that from, like, I think I haven't finished the series, but, you know, Watchmen series. Like, you're watching that and you're kind of like, because that came out at a particular time, like last year.
That was last year, 2019. It was the end of 2019 that came out.
Yeah, and you're kind of watching it like,
yeah.
Feels familiar.
They were because again, it was filmed obviously way before any of the George Floyd stuff. You know, obviously Black Lives Matter had happened. But it was between the 2016 and the 2020. And obviously they filmed in like 2017 or 18, and it came out in 2019. But it's just interesting that as it came out, then COVID happened, and then all the kind of Black Lives Matter stuff happened during the summer of the year afterwards. And there's something, you know, something prophetic about that series, the Watchmen series. It's fucking incredible TV though, isn't it?
No, I like I say, I think I watched 2-3 episodes, and it's just like, this is really good. And it's one of those ones, like, I want to keep watching it, but I think Liz might like it, but then she might not.
Right.
So I'm not sure whether to keep watching it. It's one of those sort of, am I going to get in trouble for watching it without her? But again, we're getting to that period of the year now as well, where like TV's just good, like good stuff's coming out. I mean, say period of year. I mean, like it's just Disney Plus at the minute. Just everything.
I mean, we've got our WandaVision spoiler cast that's going to come out at some point on the main feed. Whenever we are going to do that. But like Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well is really good. I'm really enjoying it.
Totally different. Like, it's a totally different
I think
show.
I messaged you and Andrew the other night, and I was like, you know, this feels like a film that has been split into 6 parts and kind of padded out to give a little bit more.
But it doesn't feel padded out, though, does it? Like,
no, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Like fleshed out to be more. You know, is what I meant by that. Not padding for the sake of padding, but because I think originally it was supposed to be a film. Rather than I think the original idea was a film,
didn't they? Like the Eternals was going to be a film.
That's right. Is that not still going to be a film? I don't know.
I didn't think it was. I don't know. Possibly is then. I don't know what's going on with Marvel Cinematic Universe at the minute.
I think they've had to be a little bit more flexible in the last year or two.
And it's...
But yeah, it's paying off because it's really good. And
it's so good.
I know that we are obviously the target demographic for it, and we're going to love it anyway. Like, because I went into it and I was like, it's not going to hold a candle to WandaVision because the storytelling there was incredible. Like the way it all wrapped up, and like just like the heart in that in the script, in the plot,
for sure,
was brilliant and well told. This, however, I was like, well, it's going to be a buddy cop thing, so it's not going to be.
That's what I thought
the
as
same,
well.
Obviously, but actually, what it is like 6 short action movies that's telling one, because every single one has at least one huge effects heavy scene.
Well, I mean, the opening of the first episode. Oh, I've lost my headphones.
Oh, no. And
you
then,
can say what you want about me at the minute because I can't hear you.
I can say what I like now, yeah. But the whole and there's a body count. There's a serious body count in this one.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone died in WandaVision. I don't think a single person died.
No, I don't. Actually, that's a very good point.
People were tortured for weeks and months mentally.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone died.
Yeah, arguably.
Well, maybe, Vision. Perhaps.
Arguably, is that... No, I was going to say arguably tortured is probably for weeks worse than killing them.
Yeah, probably. But this is like, even in that first, that opening sequence with the helicopters and the squirrel, the flying squirrel suits, you've got like at least 3 helicopters were destroyed.
Yeah.
And like he's throwing people out of helicopters without parachutes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that the guy that he was fighting at the very beginning was Batroc.
Yeah. No, I spotted
Captain
that.
America. Yeah.
The thing is, I spotted that because I'm a UFC fan. So I was like, oh, it's George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Batroc. Of course. Like,
yeah. It didn't register with me at first, and then I heard someone talking about it, and I was like, hold on. And I went back and watched it again and was like, fuck, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, no, mate, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is brilliant. But it's great because it's like they're part of the same franchise. They're both these superhero movies, but they're not competing with each other because they're different genres of film.
Yeah.
Or series, sorry. They're different genres, aren't they? Essentially. But yeah, this is...
It's giving you something else. Like WandaVision gave you like a mystery.
Yeah.
And at the heart of it was grief and PTSD.
Yeah.
And this one's giving you like action and adventure.
Yeah.
And like a kind of spy story in a way. Like the whole breaking Zemo out and actually having to team up with a villain. And he's suave as fuck. He's like, and then he's like, I was a baron before you came and destroyed Sokovia. Like, I have a private jet and a butler. Yeah. They were like, this guy was rich the whole time.
Yeah. How do you think he did what he did? This is the thing, and that explains how he managed to do what he did in Civil War because he's rich. He has money. He's a baron. Like. They just pull up this hangar and it's like a private jet with a fucking butler, and you're like, wait, oh yeah.
And his outfit is cool. That like sheepskin lined jacket.
He's
awesome.
Yeah.
And then like the fact that he puts the mask on to fire some rounds off, as if like he needs the mask. That's the bit I don't quite understand. Like, is it bulletproof? Is that what that's all about? Because he put it on, fired some shots off, killed a bunch of people, takes it back off again.
Yeah. But it's despite the fact he's got that great sheepskin coat, so everyone like, oh, it's just Baron with a mask, like, because he's wearing the same clothes. Like, I know, but
and of course the Wakandans show up because they've broken the guy who killed their king out of prison. Of course they're gonna come after him, and I was like, when it happened, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
It's so good. Like, and some of the performances in it, Sebastian Stan, like the scenes when he's in Wakanda as like the White Wolf. That like we don't want to spoil it too much because we'll probably do a spoiler cast, but
I don't know whether it needs it. Do you know?
Nah, maybe not this.
I'm not
because
sure because it's
WandaVision because it had the mystery, didn't it? Whereas this
and
kind
it was
of
episodic
doesn't.
as well. And there were things that we were trying to figure out. Like, this is not a mystery. This is just like an action film.
It's just great.
You know?
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it, we'll spoil it. If you haven't seen episode 4 yet, stop listening, go watch it. Because we're giving shit away anyway. I mean, you've already said
the
about
fact
that they showed up at the end of episode 3, didn't they?
Yeah,
she showed up at the end of episode 3. And
but
I saw a tweet
at the end of episode. Even at the end of episode 1, you've got like Sam giving the shield to the Smithsonian to put on exhibit because he doesn't feel like he's earned it.
Yeah.
And then right at the end of that episode, they're like, here's the new Captain America. And they give him the shield away to this new guy dressed in,
Yeah, and then like episode 1, you're like, what the fuck? And episode 2, you're like, I don't like him. He's a prick. Episode 3, you're like, oh no, maybe he's not too bad. Episode 4, you're like, fuck you.
He's snapped. He's taken that serum as well.
Mate, yeah. And
I love bent the pipe around that guy's hand.
Oh, God. Yeah. See, when he bent it, the guy's like, oh shit. Oh, and the swearing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Mate, everywhere. Left, right, and centre.
Yeah, which is nuts because it's not.
It's Disney.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if I think in Disney, if I remember from Hamilton, you can only have one F-bomb. Right. So Hamilton has 3. Because there was a there was a tweet that Lin-Manuel Miranda put out. Because in Disney shows, to keep it PG-13, I think it is, you can drop one F-bomb. Hamilton has 3. So Lin's tweet was that he literally gave 2 fucks. It's just funny. So I'm just wondering if there's only one F-bomb in each episode. Because then each episode stays at that rating.
Yeah, that's
true. Because Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a series, but each episode only has one F in.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because I was surprised by that when they first started dropping.
All over the place,
yeah. But
I can't say a bad word about it. I mean, the last shot of episode 4, what a fucking image! Yeah, what an image!
Like normally a heroic image if it weren't for the blood.
And I've seen several tweets and it's like, because they're saying like Sam literally being everything that embodies Captain America, giving the shield away to a guy that is literally everything against Captain America.
Yeah.
The fact that the guy he beat to death with Cap's shield only 10 minutes earlier said how much of a fan of Captain America he was as a kid.
Yeah.
And he kills him with his shield, and it's like, wow. Yeah. What the fuck?
It's pretty fucked, isn't it? But the other thing that's interesting about it is the whole Isaiah storyline. The fact that there was a black super soldier in was it Korea, wasn't it? And going to the projects in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia or whatever.
Yeah, but he wasn't given the same coverage as Cap because he was black.
And then they get hassled walking away from the house as well because it's a black guy and a white guy having an argument in the street. And
they cuff the black guy.
They cuffed the white guy, don't they?
I thought they cuffed Sam.
No.
Was it not?
No, they took Winter Soldier in because he had a warrant for his arrest.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But sorry, when they came out and they were arguing, they approached
they went
Sam,
to
and they were asking Winter Soldier, "Are you okay?" Blah blah.
Until they realised who they were.
Sam, and then they realised, oh fuck, there's a warrant out for your arrest because you missed your psychology session, you missed your counselling.
Yeah.
But they were hassling Sam up until that point, weren't they?
Yeah. And I quite like that it's kind of dealing with that as well, like in a kids, in effectively like a comic book movie. It's I didn't think it was heavy-handed. I thought it was pretty well, posed. But then you've got the levity as well, like the big three, androids, wizards, and aliens or something like that. They're like wizards. Wizards wear hats or something.
Because he was like, he's a sorcerer. He's a sorcerer. No. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, wizards. He was like, there's no wizards. What about Doctor Strange? He was like, he's a sorcerer. He doesn't like wizards wear hats. He's a sorcerer. That's like the you haven't watched Mulan, have you? The cartoon.
No.
Because there's a thing, Mushu's the little dragon. And Mulan calls him a lizard, and she's like, and he's like, I'm a dragon. I don't do the tongue thing. So it's that sort of feeling. It's like, no, he's a sorcerer. Wizards wear hats. It's like, I'm a dragon. I don't do the tongue thing.
And there's a couple of little bits like that have happened between the two of them where they do this kind of this bickering thing.
Their Relationship's brilliant. Someone
You're not going to
pointed
move
out-
the seat forward, are you?
Yeah.
No.
And someone pointed out that after every exchange, or after every, like, I think it's after every time Bucky makes a good choice, or after each fight or whatever, Sam always pats him on the shoulder or pats him on the back. It's like, well done.
Oh,
like,
right.
Like, which I haven't spotted yet, but a few tweets I've seen going through it.
Like kind of affirmation almost.
Yeah. Because he's a counsellor. He counsels people with trauma. Bucky's got dealing with trauma.
Yeah.
And like that thing when he
That's
goes to speak
interesting.
with Carly as well. Like the way he deals with her.
That was really good.
Mate, she's... Yeah. What a great character she is as well.
Yeah.
Everything about... I don't think there's anything bad in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There wasn't anything really bad in WandaVision either. Like, everything is just great.
I think we mentioned, like, the first couple of episodes, you're like, I need this to move on now with WandaVision.
Yeah,
It's like, get to the...
Yeah, but without those, I don't think it would have had the same impact.
No, of course not. There was a reason for it.
And I think, because we were like watching it, sort of like, what the fuck's going on? I'm so confused. I don't know, because you don't know what it's supposed to be at all. But yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, but this is just like hit the ground running, and it just goes and goes and goes, and there's just not a bad word about it. I saw a tweet saying like nobody should try and ship. I can't remember her name now. The Wakandan. What's her name?
Oh, don't do this to me, because it's not a Okoye.
It's like 4 words, 2 syllables. It's like, but anyways, people are like, don't ship her and Winter Soldier because she is canon a gay character. Like in the comics, she is gay. So it's like, stop shipping her with people. That's not what this is. Like, she's not a love interest. She is a gay character. Don't do it.
I'd never even imagined that she would have been. She was just helping him to kind of get over his conditioning. Yeah, I know. People are weird. People are stupid.
That's why we have a podcast. But
that whole fight in the room with the Wakandans and Captain America and Battlestar.
Yeah, and fucking Baron's just like, I'm out. It was in that gif of Homer backing away through the hedge.
Yeah, it was like that.
He's like, I'm out. Closes the door while they're all fighting.
Yeah.
But and when that Wakandan, like, she beats shit out of Captain America and then just stomps on his shield and catches it.
Yeah.
It's just, whoa, badass.
Yeah.
And
they weren't even super soldiers.
Yeah, that's what convinced him to do. Take the serum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's at the same time, you kind of, although John Walker's a dick, at the same time, it's like, can you imagine the pressure of trying to fill those shoes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can kind of understand why he's doing what he's doing. And Sam and Bucky aren't giving him the chance to prove himself. They're just like poo-pooing him all the time. So he's like, but I'm Captain America. Like, I'm in charge. Like, why aren't you listening to me? Why won't you give me a chance? Like, so he's trying to prove himself. Had that moment with Battlestar where he's like, if you had the chance to take the serum, would you take it? Battlestar's like, yeah, fucking sure I would. And he's like, but aren't you scared about the side effects? And it's like, no, it just enhances the person you are.
Yeah. And that's the
and he's like,
foreshadowing,
I would just be, I'm a great, like, Battlestar's like, I'm confident with that, I would be good. And John's like, what about me? He's like, I mean, 4 medals of honor or whatever. And but the little hang-ups that he's got.
Yeah.
That scene, and you're watching it and you're like, no, don't do it. He did it.
He did.
But it's, it's just, it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And I like that it's weekly. So you get the chance to think about it and process it. And
yeah, I think this is the thing. I think we've had this conversation about binge watching versus spreading it out. If you've got the choice, I think people will always binge watch because you get to the end and you need to, like, TV is set up to cliffhanger at the end of each episode, so you want to instantly go and watch the next one. But of the series that I've binge watched and the series that I've been forced to wait a week
Yeah.
to watch the next one, I remember more about the ones that I have to wait, because you're processing it and you're thinking like, what's going to happen next? You're trying to second guess it, and trying to make sense of what's happened in that episode to kind of guess what might happen in the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely something. And I think you although the shows we binge watched, you can say, I really enjoyed those. They were great. But I don't think you can probably enjoy them as much as the ones you're forced to wait on.
It's like Stranger Things, right? I really like Stranger Things, and I especially like a series 1 and 3. 2, not so much. 2 was not
everyone says the same thing. Everyone says. I think we spoke about it the weekend, didn't we?
We did, didn't we? Yeah.
We said the same thing. We're like, series 1, brilliant. Series 2, that's good. Series 3, amazing.
But I couldn't tell you the specifics of what happened in each episode and in what order the plot happened, because I watched it all in one go.
Because
or
it's
like,
that good.
Because the option was there and the cliffhangers were so good that you just wanted to watch. Like we'd watch 2 or 3 in a sitting, and then you've done the whole series in 3 or 4 sittings. And
you can separate, like, I know these happened together, I know this happened together, but I don't know what order they happened. Like, and I think, there's something to be said for Disney Plus making us all wait. Yeah. And some of the, some of the Netflix ones do as well. Star Trek Discovery was a weekly thing. So it's not Disney making sure that you keep your subscription up or anything. It's just because it's the best way to watch things.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not in it for the money.
But at the same time, what it's doing, especially with WandaVision and The Mandalorian, was making people talk about it and theorize, and like it's word of mouth, isn't it? It's but weirdly, isn't it strange that like that was how TV worked 10, 15 years ago, and since streaming, everyone was like,
isn't it?
Yeah. And then since streaming, everyone was like, binge watching is the way forward. And now, like,
Disney are like,
it's going back the other way. It's like, no, you're going to talk about this with your friends all throughout the week.
Yeah, you are going to tweet about it. You're going to make sure we get advertised. You're going to start podcasts about it and discuss everything that happens. Like, and it's, as much as people hate Disney, they do inspire creativity in people. Yeah. In the sense that people are like, this is great, we must talk about it. Like I've got a friend who's a reactor. I've got a couple of friends who are reactors on YouTube, and they're both. I think, are they both? Well, one of them definitely is reacting to these Disney shows, and Disney could quite easily go in and go, no, you're not putting this on YouTube. This is our IP, but they're letting the reactions happen because it promotes their stuff, but at the same time, it is causing people to create things. I know other people are doing it as well, but like you say, Disney are doing it weekly, which makes the conversation happen. They just do everything right, man.
Yeah, and I genuinely, when Disney Plus came out, I signed up to it for a free month and was like, "There's not enough on here for me to be interested." Like, there was one season of The Mandalorian, and that was it. And so I was like, "Nah, this ain't it." And since I've rebought it for Soul and the second Mandalorian series, like since Mandalorian, it's been like Mandalorian, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then we're getting Loki. And that will be a whole thing as well.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna. I get the impression that it's going to be like Quantum Leap.
Did you watch the latest trailer then?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. It's good.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
The trailer's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I don't know if you want to watch the trailer or not. I don't know.
But yeah, it's like they seem to have got everything up and running, and like things are coming out consecutively, and I can't see me not resubscribing when it happens, because I got like through O2 I got 6 months worth of Disney Plus free.
Oh yeah, with new contract thing.
So yeah, I can't see me at the end of the 6 months not paying for it.
It's too good.
Yeah.
Riot and the what's it called? Riot and the I can't remember what it is. The Pixar film at the minute. That's the Premier Access thing.
I don't know.
It's a new film, and it's that Premier.
Oh
Access
yeah,
thing.
Riot and the Dragons or something.
Yeah, and it's like part of me is like, oh, I really want to watch it, but I'm like, I don't want to pay for it.
No, I know. This is the problem, though, isn't it? Because we're all used to paying like a flat fee and then being able to watch whatever we want. But then
at the same
this
time,
is going to be the way that cinema is for a little while, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, because it's not at the cinema, and it's like, at the cinema, I would pay like £9-10
per
ticket,
person.
and then I pay £9 or
snacks.
£10 for Liz, and then I pay £9 or £10 for Chloe.
Yeah.
And then we'd buy snacks, and it's like, whereas this, I can have, where are we now? Not the 12th yet. Can I have up to 10 people? I can't have anyone indoors yet, so I can only have the 3 of us.
6.
It's only the 3 of us at the minute.
Oh, is it?
And you can't have anyone indoors until May
the
17th.
yeah, that's right.
Actually.
You could set up a projector in your back
in the
garden.
back garden, I could have up to 6 or up to 10 from 2 households.
Yes.
But more likely it's 6. So I could have 6 people in the garden all watching it, and possibly our neighbours as well. You know.
Yeah.
We could watch it on a projector outside for like 15 quid.
Yeah.
So it's I really want to watch it, but part of it kind of looks, if it's this one, it kind of looks like Kubo and the Two Strings. Which, have you seen Kubo and the Two Strings?
I haven't. I keep meaning to. I'm desperate to watch it, but Joe isn't that interested in it, and I'm like, but why? It looks exactly the same as like all the other stuff that we love to watch.
It's a stunning film.
I'm going to make her watch it at some
So
point
well
because
made
I'm
as
desperate.
well. Oh, it's brilliant. But yeah, so it's... Yeah, that's a new film. I really want to watch that, but I don't want to pay for it. But I also do because you got to support the things you love.
Yeah, because if you don't, then they don't get made, you know. So.
But yeah, it's great. And the Loki trailer, by the way, yes, watch if you want to. If you want to go in blind, go in blind. But it's good. The new Black Widow trailer, great as well.
Right. Okay. I'm not really a trailer guy anyway, but I will watch them if I know they're there. But I don't often look out for them. So
I'm on Twitter and YouTube constantly, so they just pop up. So I watch them. Occasionally looking for IMDb, like, what the fuck's his name again? What have we seen him in before? And it's just there on the front page. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'll watch that. Yeah, it's not like I didn't know there was trailers coming, but I saw them and was like, oh, I'll watch them. But yeah, Godzilla, Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong is now on Sky Cinema. Not Sky Cinema, it's on Sky Store, isn't it?
Yeah.
To rent or buy.
So you can rent or buy that, yeah. I'm this close to renting that.
Yeah, I really want to watch it, but I don't think Liz will. And it's just like, I'll be the only one watching it. Can I justify it?
Yeah, I mean, Joe has no interest in that, you know, either. Yeah. So it's literally just me.
Yeah.
But I really like the other films in the franchise, you know.
Which,
I mean,
to be fair, I haven't
Godzilla,
seen...
Kings and Monsters was a bit nuts.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what you want. It's Godzilla facing a bunch of other kaiju.
Yeah, what have I seen? I saw Godzilla. And I saw... Did I see
Kong Skull Island?
Skull Island?
With Sam Jackson and Tom Hiddleston and...
No, I don't think I did see that. Which was the one with Jack Black?
That was the Peter Jackson King Kong.
It's not in the franchise, that one?
Back in the day. No, that's not within this particular universe.
I haven't seen any of the King Kongs in, but I saw Godzilla. I haven't seen any of the others. Maybe I should watch the others.
Skull Island's really good.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Vietnam movie.
Right.
But with a big gorilla. It's because it's set in the 70s and it's like Marines having to go over, and it feels like a kind of Apocalypse Now kind of film, genuinely. Yeah. And then like out of nowhere there's like a homage to Cannibal Holocaust.
Right.
Like, you know, the famous image from Cannibal Holocaust where like there's a person on a spike
yeah,
on the video cover. that happens in the middle of like Kong Skull Island. It's pretty incredible.
Okay.
And so that would probably explain why Kong is now in the US as well at the beginning of this film, or under the ownership of the military, I guess.
Yeah. Because they kidnapped him. But there's lots to watch, I suppose. I could have watched so much more on my week off, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's whether or not you want to do that rather than go out into the sunshine.
Didn't really do much of that either. Going to be honest with you. I've been on a couple of walks, But yeah, it's studying as well. So my next module started again, and it's taken a step up.
Right.
This second module. Like, I'm doing arithmetic with binary.
Oh.
And like decimal numbers with binary, and doing like logic gates and
right, yeah.
Like, I mean, understanding the inner workings of a processor and how a computer handles like it's great. Like I'm getting it, but it's taking a step up massively.
So a lot of studying coming your way.
Yeah, well, yeah. So this is my final module in the first year.
Right. Okay.
First year, but it's year one, level one. I should call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Final level 1 module, yeah. And then I've booked onto my level 2 module for October. Which is another business module. So that's going to go from like this October to next October.
Right.
So that's like a whole year for that module.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good.
And it's cool that you're doing it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it, which is what really matters, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. If you weren't enjoying it, it wouldn't be worth it, would it? Let's face it.
And I'm so fucking far in now that it's like I need to finish my modules, otherwise I'm going to have to pay the money back. Like, I need to finish now. If I finish, then I'll go on to like the student loan repayment, which only happens at 25 grand. And it's bit by bit. Whereas if I don't finish, I need to pay that money back some other way. And bearing in mind the module that I've just booked onto is like 3.5 grand. And I'm on my third module now anyway. So yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep it up.
Excellent.
But it just means I might be grumpy and not very useful at some points. Working full time with a family and studying and podcast and music. Yeah, that's fine. You've got to have your things that you enjoy doing, though. That's the thing.
Definitely, yeah. It's certainly that way. But you know, we've both had times where we've not been up for doing this.
Oh yeah,
for example, and I think these days we're much less rigid about whether we do it and put ourselves through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, if you need time off, take it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, I definitely will. Yeah, no, I definitely will.
But yeah, I know where you're coming from. I did a podcast last night. I'm doing this today, and I've got another podcast to do tomorrow.
Oh God.
And this is on top of the script that I'm still writing on the documentary that I want to put out at the end of this month.
Wow.
So I haven't even recorded it or started editing yet.
Whilst also being your own boss.
Yeah.
Doing work, contacting customers, submitting things, sending out invoices, making sure your invoices are paid, balancing your books. So just
the tax year as well now.
Oh God, yeah, it's April now, yeah. So you're doing your
self-assessment. So I've got that to do too. Yeah. Oof. Waiting for that to come through the post at the moment.
Nice.
Grown up time, big boy time.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good though, because you're your own boss. You can be like, no, I need to do this.
I can.
That work can wait for a second.
And I'm lucky that I can do that. And like I've just got a regular client on board that's gonna ease my burden.
So you know you've got a regular amount coming in.
Yes.
So you know,
as long as it works out, as long as what I do is that, you know, but. Yeah, it's going to be a nice little baseline for me. So I won't have to, you know, go, because like last month I did six articles between 800 words and 1200 words. in 4 weeks,
Oof.
which is like the hardest I've ever worked.
Yeah.
Like I've never done that much in 1 month, even when I was on staff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that took its toll a bit last month. So I didn't do very much this week, but I did sort things out for the future.
Yeah, and I think that's the good point, isn't it? You're like, no, I'm going to have a break from writing right now. Let me just find a little bit, like spend a bit of time looking for work, looking for other stuff that might be a bit lighter.
Yeah, because the problem was for a whole month I didn't look for work because I was too busy doing work. So, like, you know, it's that, you know, you got to think a little bit. And now I've got this particular client on the go. It will free me up to be able to balance it a lot easier. Yeah. And I won't have to worry about working myself into the ground.
Which is great. You're finding a balance. But so you gave yourself a bit of an easier week this week. In some ways. Like
needed it. Although to be fair, I've put hours into the scripting of the podcast instead.
Yeah, but that's hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not work.
It's for fun.
Yeah.
But I'm, you know, very aware that we're almost halfway through the month and I need to get it done I don't need to get it done. It's my own self-imposed deadlines. They don't
but
have
it's good
to
have
be.
deadlines, because if you didn't have a deadline, you'd just be working on it constantly. It would never be finished.
No, exactly.
Which is what people do. Like, if you don't put a deadline on it, you're never going to be finished. Because there's always that, I could just do that. I could just, but I've done that now. So I know if I've done that, that means I can do it here as well. So I'm just going to, and it's just constant tweaking.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I think, because I know that exists, that's why I won't start on big projects.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this time last year was when it started. It was the 24th of April was when I posted the first thing. So like this year is my 1 year anniversary of band biographies. So I'm looking at the 26th as being obviously the episode where I kind of celebrate that a bit, and then the 30th is when the main episode goes out. But so it'll be
'cause you're taking submissions from people, aren't you, at the minute?
Yeah, hopefully. None have shown up yet. I need to advertise that a bit more, I think.
Well, no, but you've got people that have said they're definitely going to give you something to put anyway.
Yeah. So. But there's always that worry, isn't there? You know, you put these things out and people go, and then you're like, I'm waiting.
Well, also, there's probably quite a few of your listeners will, because you've only mentioned it on social media, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have you not put out an episode asking?
No, because I didn't realise.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say, because there is that part where probably a lot of your listeners aren't on social media.
It's true.
So they won't have seen it anyway.
That is true.
They
Perhaps
won't know.
I should just do a quick and dirty kind of like, hey, didn't realise, but this month is the 1 year. Perhaps.
Yeah, hey, send me content.
Yeah. Boost my ego, please. Tell me that I'm doing a good job.
But yeah, no, it's more of a, hey, look, 1 year anniversary is coming up. I'm doing this. It's your opportunity. If you've wanted to say something, it's your opportunity to.
But I'd rather you went and left a review
say something
on
nice.
iTunes, really. That's what I prefer.
Yeah. Beat the algorithm.
Yeah.
Or not beat the algorithm. Because that's the interesting thing.
Game the algorithm.
Yeah. See, that's the interesting thing. I watched a YouTube video. It's about, I just find it interesting. A guy saying how so-and-so beat the algorithm. Mark Rober, I think, was how Mark Rober beat the algorithm. And at the end, they're like, right. But in actual fact, Mark Rober hasn't beat the algorithm. He's used the algorithm to his advantage. Yeah. So he's not beating it. He's using it exactly how it's supposed to be used.
Yeah, precisely.
Like
which hardly anyone does. Yeah. Hardly anyone knows how to do it. I don't.
It's so funny because I was watching his video, like this guy analysing how Mark Rober does this. And then I watched the Mark Rober video and I was like, oh yeah, so he is. It's great. It's so good how he does it.
I'll have to give that a watch. But the other thing as well is like, I know that a lot of social media sites are now cracking down on stuff that links away from, like, for example, if you post something on Facebook that links out to your website,
it gets shown less.
Which is bullshit.
Massive.
Which is why I'm thinking about Discord.
Setting up a Discord to promote stuff.
Yeah.
It's great. I love Discord.
I'm on the Sweet Feathery Jesus one.
Yeah.
But because I need to turn on push notifications a bit more, I think. But I need to spend a lot of time having a look at it and how it actually works.
Yeah, it's really good. So I did set one up for ABH, but it's like there's no reason for it. But yours, if you did one for band biographies of work, because you could have like music chat, but then you could have separate channels for different types of music. You can put things like articles that people have read that they really like. You can have like a general chit chat. You can have like channels, like gaming channels and stuff like that. You can have just different channels for separate conversations where people can gravitate. It's really good. Like I'm on several of them and people have just broken it down. Even my work one, it's got like, we've got a game chat. We've got just a normal talk shit chat. We've got song links. We've got, but it's all different places. So it doesn't get lost in the gumph. It's just,
yeah. And
we've also got like a not safe for work channel as well.
And the thing that I like about it is that like it's direct. It's not, there is no algorithm to it.
Yeah.
Like what you put out, people will read.
Yeah, but the only difference with that is obviously with Twitter and Facebook is that may get promoted to people who aren't already listening, whereas Discord is people that are already listening.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, but like you say, it's a good thing. So if you've got any news or announcements like this, you want to ask people for like submissions.
Yeah.
Putting it on Twitter, it might get lost. Not all of your followers would see that. Whereas in Discord, you could have it as an announcement and people would see it.
Yeah. I need to get much stronger on my social media game, but it's just, again, it's like time, isn't it? You know, like to do it properly, you need to spend a lot of time doing it and curating for each individual one. And, you know, it's...
Yeah, engaging as well, because people are less likely to reply to you if you don't engage back. Which we are very guilty of sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm
trying to get better. Yeah. I'm trying to get better, especially on that one, but also on this one as well. I've tried to, because I went for a while without looking at the Anywhere But Here one. Which is not good. So I've tried being a bit better at that recently.
Yeah. The problem is I've got I've got a few different like Twitter accounts that I'm never sure which one I'm in and looking at anymore. I don't know where I am. And annoyingly, when you're replying to someone, there's no little icon to say which account you're in, so you don't know who you're replying as. Because
I quite often have to check.
If someone tweets at ABH Pod and then includes me as well, I'm like, am I using my own Twitter or am I using ABH Twitter? Like, who am I responding as? Like, so I don't know.
Especially if you just click on the notification and it takes you through.
Yeah,
it
you don't know where you are.
At all,
so then you have to go back and try and find out which account you're in. Then you go and find the tweet again. And if you're in the wrong account, you've then got to switch accounts, and then you've got to go and find that tweet from that person. And then I'll go, fuck it, and then don't respond. Not the attitude to have, but
probably not. But you know, it is what it is. We're trying to get better. We've got a lot on. We've just told you how much we've got on.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're busy. Fuck off. Leave us alone.
So for this episode of Anywhere But Here, I've been Tom.
And I've been Ant. Bye.